Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and today we're starting a new game called Headlander. So we just played Guacamelee Super Turbo Championship Edition, which was quite a difficult 2D, 2.5D maybe. I guess Guacamelee was pretty much 2D Metroidvania game, and in that same likeness I figured we'll just play Headlander here. This is one of the newer games that came out in July 2016, and with the exception of Full Throttle Remastered and the VR game Psychonauts Rhombus of Ruin, it is the newest game developed by Double Fine Productions, but oddly published by Adult Swim Games. And in a weird way, Double Fine has published games throughout the years, but it seems to not do it as much as you would think for as many as they've developed. And Adult Swim Games is on the edge of potentially having more releases, even though it is a much newer games publisher. We again are going to push probably further than what I should be pushing the graphics. I have this on SSAA 4X. By default, the game told me something different. I'm hitting the point where new games probably are more correct than my own guesses. It had me, I think, on SSA 2X or FXAA. So hopefully we won't run into any issue. There's a 70% chance we won't. VSync I always turn off for recording, because that doesn't affect recording in a positive way, and subtitles are on, and I've got all of the audio adjusted and the brightness I'm leaving the same, graphics at the highest setting, and that's kind of all we need to do. I'm pretty sure the story is going to explain itself, so we don't need to get into that too much, so we can just begin. So you play as a head, and our first choice is to pick who we want to play as. I wish there was a name under this, because this seems like it's just 3 different people. And I guess maybe there won't be a voice associated with this. So you have what might be a girl. It's hard to tell with the astronaut glass dome over it. Like, that might be a female. Clearly an old man here with a mustache, and what is a younger man. And kind of knowing what the story is, I think we'll just pick this guy. I doubt we even can see our own face for most of the game. This story is pretty crazy once it gets explained, but you really don't need that much of a story in a Metroidvania game. The 2 most famous games, you're playing as Samus Aran in Metroid, just a space pirate, and you're playing as one of the Belmonts in Castlevania, fighting Dracula. These series of games have never really been super focused on story. This is going to be a kind of retro experience with a modern sentimentality, I imagine. That looks pretty good. It's a little low polygon.
And I'm through. Y'all should be hearing me on your helmet radio now. I know y'all got a lot of questions, but there ain't no point in trying to talk. Cause you ain't got no lungs. Y'all just come out of stasis, so you don't likely remember much. It's gonna be a hard pill to swallow, but hell's bells, shepherds again. Y'all gonna need yourself a body.
Y'all.
Welcome to the future.
So the general idea is you froze your head in some point in the past. And it's telling me to stay calm, which is a reference to the Guardians of the Galaxy. Not Guardians of the Galaxy, what am I talking about? It's reference to that famous book series that I've forgotten the name of. Wow. It has Galaxy in the name, and it's very busy.
Wants a hold of you. We gotta get y'all off this ship. Don't worry, I'll talk you through. Name's Earl, by the way.
One of the later books was called The Restaurant at the End of the Galaxy. So we are apparently in trouble, so we need to escape, and we're controlling a robot body and just doing some very classic scene to scene to scene areas. So I can hit left bump, this is new, to launch my head. And now I have limited ability to fly just as a head. You could kind of see this being a zombie and then Headland with left bump. You could see this as a comedic zombie game as much as a sci-fi story.
I am Rod, autonomous door AI. Red security clearance required for entry. That uniform is really more of a dusty rose.
Just shoot the door. Your red laser will do the trick.
And these AI computers.
Fine, red access confirmed. Why do I even bother being thorough?
So, classic Metroid. Shoot the door to open it. Use right to aim this gun at any angle and fire. Seems like there's not a considerable amount of things that are actually interactable. And if you just pull the right trigger, interestingly enough, you don't have it. Now on the lower right there's these color panels, and we got a box with a red line, and the top left I imagine is our body's health.
Red access granted.
Interesting, the audio sounded like it was on the wrong side of my headphones there.
Has escaped. Shepherds investigate.
Uh-oh. Old Methuselah's on to us. We best hurry.
So hold left trigger for precise aim and right to fire. So they're not even gonna be.
Red clearance. Congratulations.
You're not even gonna have to really worry about aiming, which is fine, I suppose, because there's apparently this door is broken. So I imagine the trick here is you want to do something like this and then something like this to get through, because you have no way of jumping. And we have a chart like current location, and we're getting to the escape pods. Use left trigger to precise aim to shoot off heads. So there's the new introduction. Now we're gonna fight actual robots with their heads. So it takes a couple of shots, and if I just fall, but it's gonna be a game of making sure you don't hurt yourself too much and managing your game. Feels like there might easily be an achievement for having all of the things say stay calm. Ship compromised. So did I... Did I press... Did I leave the other one on stay calm? Well, not worth running back and checking. If there's some weird achievement like that, I can get it later.
Watch out, those shepherds got their heads. They ain't gonna be happy to see y'all.
So new objective, find and deactivate the security lasers.
Helmet will repair damage to your head over time. But if y'all take too many hits in a short enough time, then it's lights out.
Almost lost there. Trying to get the appropriate angle. I don't think I can quite get it. There we go. And I have to actually fly over to this guy because there's no jump. Let's see. Patrol red signal is now in the lower right corner. I kind of wish it would have told me these things. Or explained these things. So now you have to go through tunnels, quite like Metroid. This is much more about doing Metroid things than Castlevania things so far. Although I am honestly more familiar with Metroid games. I really haven't played any Castlevania ones. And we'll just see if there's any collectibles, because I imagine we will eventually run into things like that. The top left seems to indicate, right now at least, I have infinite ability to fly. And if that's the case, then...
I don't open for little flying heads.
Oh, I needed to roll.
I am far too advanced for this menial task.
And that time it just opened it. And we can just punch things with B. So we've already established a significant amount of things. Imagine there's probably no reason to go down here. There's something down this way. But we can't reach it. Let's see what happens when we go up this way. Headland into the transfiber node. Press A to activate it. So the red is telling you what you're attached to.
Looks like that jolt brought your vacuum drive online. Y'all can use it to yank off things like heads and tubeway hatches.
Nice. So I've now gotten an upgrade. Let's see what happens if we try it a second time. Nothing. And I imagine that that's...
Use your vacuum drive to suck off that tube hatch.
Yep. We had no way to succeed otherwise. So bodies are going to be very disposable. And it seems like we have an infinite amount of vacuum right now, too. I am noticing we didn't have any
Red access granted.
any difficulty settings.
Shepherds converge.
As an interesting point, the game is already reminding me of things that it has already told me to do. Let's see, can I slowly... Like, I don't think I'm about to die. These could get really difficult really fast.
Clearance. Congratulations.
And so we can take heads with us if we want. Intruders detected. Let's see if we... I almost feel like tiny little save points or checkpoints every time we use a computer. No longer do we have to shoot every door. That's nice. And what head was that? Now A to deactivate the ship laser system.
Now go on and head back to the escape pods.
Go away. I don't open for little flying heads.
There we go. So, what is this?
Supervisor?
So, one of the things that we're getting introduced to is how you're going to interact with people. These are little vacuum robots.
Not mention centralizing to Z4. Last time you blew an actuator. Just play it cool. Keep it casual. Ask about his new turbine. And all Delta 2 wants to talk about is killing.
Interesting.
I enjoy the hollow clang of a dirt clod in my intake as much as anyone, but he's a bit obsessed.
So these are little Roomba vacuum cleaners with AI. And we'll just try to exhaust every line of dialogue.
You're the new Sarge? You look kind of soft to me. Bet you're real easy on crime. That sort of lazy, fair attitude don't float around here. If my turbines ain't chewing through the fluffy underbelly of a dust bunny, then we ain't got nothing to talk about.
It's a little strange design to have 3 characters with, it seems like 7 to 8 lines of dialogue back to back.
We'll see how we got grit or not.
This game is not incredibly long, so I kind of feel like they may have overwritten the game and had to squeeze in characters that would have been much more spaced out if there was more game. Of course, compared to the classic Metroid and Castlevania games, I don't think there's any interaction or talking to people. Or if there is, it's very little. Even modern Metroid games, except for a couple, have had almost no conversation. There's something to be said for central silent protagonists and just focusing on gameplay. So we can now eject dust. as we're controlling other kinds of robots.
Shepard Auxiliary Squad deployed to ship's sarcophagus immediately.
And these robots are just appearing. But there is something up there too. Interesting. Camera seems a little awkward.
I don't open for little flying heads. Go away. I don't open for little flying heads.
So here's a new one. I have to suck the head off first.
For little flying heads.
So
Standard operations.
let's see what this is. Activate the auto lift.
Entering passive mode. Disengaging. Damage received. Halt non-citizen.
Go away.
And luckily,
Flying heads.
got to wait till another vacuum cleaner shows up.
Take it easy in there. It can get a bit hairy.
Now it just blows up. I guess I can just fly through this. But I have to wait till some new vacuum cleaner decides to respawn to get out of this area. They did program it
Go away.
well enough to
Open for little flying heads.
ensure that you can't get locked in the room, which would have been an easy thing for new players to do.
Opening D-hole.
And then we can do a quick switch. I am not liking the camera though. Like, I'm moving the right stick right now and it moves which way I'm aiming. But unless there's some button somewhere or a D-pad would probably be nice
Opening D-hole.
if I just...
Alright, y'all made it to the escape pods. Time to get off of this ship.
And here we have different pods saying they're ready. And since you can't roll or anything,
And deranged is sealed. See if y'all can find another way into that escape pod.
there's something suggestive about the design of these escape pods. I think there's some dirty jokes going on here. Right trigger. I'm just gonna attach my head to the top of the pod and then launch it. A decent enough tutorial level, but we need a little bit of backstory going to explain what's going on. We're having a pretty silly Adult Swim style game. Like, I could totally see Adult Swim coming into this late in the production of a game like this and saying, instead of this just being something like, wow, you blew up the whole thing.
Listen, at the center of this mess is Methuselah.
There was a game called Lollipop Chainsaw where a head controlled zombies. A severed head did. And
Y'all might be wondering
I imagine that's what this was originally. Something like that.
Some time ago, folks had their minds moved on over to robotic imposter bodies. War left the world a pretty hard place to live in, and imposters were a way to live forever. Might just be the last flesh and blood person left in the galaxy. Me and some other folks are working to get rid of Methuselah and try to restore humanity to what it once was. I don't know who y'all are.
Which apparently is 70s.
Exactly what old Methuselah wants from you, but I'm thinking we can work together and figure it out. Uh-oh. Looks like this pod's homing right in on a secure landing deck. Let me see if I can divert it.
What a diversion. And that spaceship platform looks quite a bit like some of the things from the Cloud City in Star Wars, so that's probably a reference. And then we're loading. This game is not long enough to deserve loading or need it. Particularly since it just went from playing a video to playing a video. Like, it's kind of ridiculous that a game made in 2016 couldn't play 2 videos back to back without loading.
Your noggin still intact? We gotta get y'all off
It's not kind of ridiculous, it's totally ridiculous. Now, because we saw that, it is possible that this is a different point in the story. It's probably not, but it is possible that maybe your mind gets erased on several occasions. Being only ahead, there's a lot to lose.
Y'all gonna meet a lot of citizens. Don't take it personal if they seem like they got a screw loose. Methuselah's put a chip called the Omega Gem into everyone's noggin. That ornery little thing stops folks from feeling much or thinking too hard.
This is interesting and not something I've seen too much of, where you fly around. Of course, there's no real danger in hitting the walls either, so this is kind of just...
That vaporized crystalline energy will help your noggin make connections with the helmet systems.
Ah, so we have a new collectible. So they are introducing something new.
Let me see if I can get your mini scan online. There she is.
Still tutorializing. Press which button for a larger map? The back button. Now the menu button on Xbox One controller. And we're getting Xbox One prompts. I'm using an Xbox One controller now. Recently upgraded, so let's see, apparently getting the energy will get your experience to upgrade. And we have a vacuum drive, we have a boost, we have a bounce shield, which is probably going to come in handy and be needed. Although the way this seems to work is we are going to have to, this has already been installed, we're going to have to get a melee punch, and then a vacuum force, and then a headbutt takeover ability, and it seems like there may be a central ability that links together if you have all of this pink chain and all of this chain together. And I imagine once we get these other abilities, we may have something similar on the other side. There may even be something that unlocks on the if you unlock like the purple and yellow, you may be able to go upward, or the, what would you call this, dark yellow, brownish, not light brown. We can see our objectives. The screen looks pretty awful 70s. I don't know if I'd call these 70 colors. Whatever colors these are, some strange choices. I'm not a huge fan of the 70s, but I do believe that everything will become popular once again after over enough time, and I could see why the Omega chip might convince people to act like they're from the 70s a little bit, or maybe it's some other reason. We're 2% complete. We found 3 of 298 rooms. That almost screams that there are 2 secret rooms somewhere at least, so there would be 300. 2 of 28 objectives, so not really that far, that long of a game. I imagine what will happen is we'll have the last section and possibly the second to last section will be very big and have a lot of secrets around that, whereas this first section may very well be just a little bit more self-contained and simple. I wouldn't be surprised if there are only 3 sections, and I wouldn't be surprised if all 3 of those sections are on this spaceship. That wouldn't surprise me one bit, actually. And from different ways, you can go different areas. If you press A here, you go to objective. If you press A here, you go to maps. But to go to upgrades, you have to scroll one way or the other. Which is odd, because you can't just hit left bump and circle around. That's a kind of stupid way to design things. You can see on the map that there's helmet pickup, and there is our destination there. And I don't know what the black dot is supposed to indicate, whether it's just a regular door, or I guess I'm eventually find out exactly what that is. Well, like I said, this isn't a super long game, even though we only got 2% complete. We're gonna go through this according to my research in less than 6 hours. So this is gonna be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.